Differences between conceptual data model, logical data model, and physical data model. Conceptual data model versus logical data model versus physical data model. Conceptual data model is a high-level model that shows what data is to be stored and the relationships among those data. Whereas, logical data model, more detailed model, shows how the system will be implemented regardless of the data platform. Whereas, physical data model is a low-level data model that describes how data will be stored and accessed in the physical storage medium. The purpose of conceptual data model is to provide a big-picture view of what data should be present in the system. Whereas, the purpose of logical data model is to provide a logical structure of the data needed by the organization. Whereas, the purpose of physical data model is to give a detailed view of how the data will be physically designed for optimal performance and costs. The focus of conceptual data model is based on data requirements for the business process and creating a shared understanding between teams. Whereas, the focus of logical data model is based on organizing the data structure to meet the business needs and communication, collaboration and quality assurance. Whereas, the focus of physical data model is based on physical data design, scalability, cost optimization, future-proofing and interoperability, and resilience. The intended audiences or roles of conceptual data model are business stakeholders, analytics engineers and data architects. Whereas, the intended audiences or roles of logical data model are analytics engineers, data architects, analysts, and designers. Whereas, the intended audiences or roles of physical data model are DBAs, developers, and system engineers. The elements of conceptual data model are entities, relationships, and key identifiers. Whereas, the elements of logical data model are entities, attributes, primary keys, foreign keys, and relationships. Whereas, the elements of physical data model are tables, columns, data types, indexes, constraints, triggers, procedures, tasks, and streams. Level of detail is high level and less detailed in conceptual data model. Whereas, level of detail is mid-level and more detailed than conceptual data model. Whereas, level of detail is low-level and very detailed in physical data model. Conceptual data model is technology independent. Whereas, logical data model is technology independent. Whereas, physical data model is technology dependent. Kindly subscribe my YouTube channel Thesis Helper. Thanks for watching.